Okay, so what is the difference between a wrench, a ratchet, a socket, and a socket ratchet? They both do, well, they all do basically the same thing. It is to turn, tighten, loosen nuts and bolts. So before we get into exactly what wrenches and ratchets and sockets are, I want to show you what the most basic wrench is. This is a wrench. So this specifically is an open end, box end wrench. This end is open end. This end is box end. It's made, this gives you 2 points of contact to put force on against the bolt. And that is good. That works out quite well. But you tend to strip out bolts when you're using something like this unless it just fits perfect. A better solution is the box end of the wrench. This one has 16 points. Cheaper ones do have 8 points, and it grips the bolt head at 16 points. So you're much less likely to strip out the bolt. And when I say strip out the bolt, that means round out the corners of it. And if you round it up too much, your wrenches and ratchets just simply are not going to work. So along the same lines as a basic open-end, box-end wrench is an adjustable wrench. This is nothing more than the open-end side of a wrench that one side of it will open and close to give you multiple sizes. This works pretty well. If you've got to purchase one tool to work on bolts, this is what you're going to want to get. This is a small one. They come in every size imaginable, from tiny to absolutely comically large, and every size in between. It works by a little screw. You can use your thumb to open it, close it. When you put this on the bolt, you just use your thumb to get it, and you want to get it really tight on there. So that's your basic wrenches right there. And I will say this is a Craftsman. I bought this in about 2002, and it's worked ever since. So this is a testament to you buy your tools, buy good tools once, and you never have to buy them again until your children find them and decide that they're shiny and they make fun noises when they bang them together, and then you're probably never going to see some of them again. So those are your basic wrenches. Now, most of this video we're going to talk about what is a socket wrench and how does it work. First off, what is a socket? Well, a socket is nothing more than these guys. These guys are made to go on top of a bolt, and just like the box end of the wrench, it's made to grip the bolt at multiple points so you don't strip it out. This one is a 16 point. Again, you can get 8 point. I think you can even get 32 point ones. But basically, the more points on a bolt, the better it's going to grip. This is what you want for automotives. So when you're working with wood, plastic, okay, it's not as critical. But when you're working with automotives, you've got to go with the sockets so you don't strip stuff out. Fits better. Working with automotives with this is just asking for problems down the road. So this is a socket. These things come in from tiny. So this right here is just 6 millimeters. They come in smaller than that. That's a very small bolt or nut. They come in medium size, and they come in as large as you can imagine. I mean, these are pretty small compared to what they are available in. When it gets into industrial applications, these things can be comically large. But this is pretty typical for automotives. This is a 14 millimeter to put it in perspective. This is a 6 millimeter. Most of your automotives are going to be in metric. Sockets come, and for that matter, wrenches as well. They come in both standard and metric. Standard means they come in fractions of an inch, quarter inch, half inch, 3/4 of an inch, 5/16 of an inch. Gets kind of confusing. American-made automotives used to come in, the bolts would be in standard. That's just not the case, hasn't been for a very long time. You'll still see standard if you're working with wood products. When it comes to automotives, I don't think you'll ever see anything but metric. So if you've got to purchase one set, a standard or a metric, go with the metric. You're going to get a lot more use out of it. For the most part, you really need both, but I would choose metric because most things are in metric now. Now getting back to our sockets, they come in all sizes, small to comically large, but the back end, they typically come in 3 different sizes that fit. So this is a 3/8. It cracks me up that this is a 14mm socket, but what goes in the back is 3/8. So why standard fractions on the back and the business end is in metric? It just cracks me up, but that's just the way it is. So these things for your wrenches to fit in here, this little knob right here, that comes in 1/4 inch, 3/8, and then also 1/2 inch. With your 1/4 inch, this is going to be for tiny bolts. Frankly, this is just not used very much unless you're working on some delicate machinery. The 3/8 inch, the bolts taper down. If it's smaller than the back, it tapers down, and that's pretty common. So it fits on your 3/8 inch ratchet, and you can still work on things smaller. The 1/4 inch sockets, or that takes a 1/4 inch ratchet, they're small, they're tiny. You just don't use those very much. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I actually used that ratchet. By far, what you're going to use, if you pick one ratchet, pick one that is 3/8 of an inch on this thing. Personally, I like this model. A lot of them do this. This one has a swivel head, so you can get in much tighter places, locks in place, and an adjustable shaft that will lengthen, so you can really put a lot of torque down on the bolt. That helps. If you got a really tight bolt, being able to put a lot more leverage into it works. You don't have to put as much force. Side note, if you're putting a lot of force, especially on mechanics, automotives, that's when you're going to slip. That's when you're going to bang your knuckles up. So if you're not having to put a whole lot of force onto a bolt to get it loosed, that's ideal. On a side note, on that principle, this, I think these things are called a breaker bar. It may be just a redneck term that I grew up with, but same concept. This is 3/8 of an inch, and it does not adjust. This is not a ratchet. This is just straight for muscle. This is something you might want to hit with a hammer or put a pipe on. There's no ratchets you're going to break on this. This is for when you have really stubborn bolts. So your 3/8 inch ratchet here, and then goes up to a 1/2 inch ratchet. So this thing is a 1/2 inch, goes into much bigger bolts. Now when you get into bolts this size, that is a very big bolt. You're just not going to see very many of these. So if you're picking one socket and ratchet set, go with the 3/8, normal size, maybe 6 to 18 millimeter. This one is 27 millimeter. Very few bolts on automotives are in this range. There's a few like to hold on the rotors that your tire mounts on. Those are pretty big. but you're not going to see this much as a DIY homeowner. You're just not going to see this size used very often. Notice that some of these are missing. Did I mention I have little kids that like to bang these together and make shiny, and they make noise. And some of these things I'll probably never see again. So, picking the right socket for the job. First off, I want to talk about this weird little thing. This thing's a ratchet. It has a ratchet built into it. It's an open-end, well, it's a box-in wrench, but it is a ratchet built in. Kind of unusual, but these things do exist. Just wanted to show you that. I've used this very little. Now, when it comes to your sockets, obviously you want to pick the right size, but you want to pick the correct type. This is standard. Your size in the back, 3/8. The size bolt or nut that it fits is 14 millimeter. Same for this guy. 3/8 in the back, 6 millimeters for the bolt. That's pretty standard. But say you've got a long bolt that you need to take the bolt off, and it's just a very big bolt. It's deep, that this is simply not deep enough to get to. The bolt will hit the top of the head before it cranks down. That's when you want to go with a deep well. This much longer, so you won't use these very much, but when you need it, you really need it. It's a deep well socket, so just know that those things exist. So this is an extension. A lot of times, especially in automotives, just basically putting your wrench and socket together is just not long enough. It just can't get into that right place, so you need an extension. These extensions come in every length imaginable. This is kind of a short one, but now you can get into a deeper place to turn your wrench to tighten or loosen the bolt. On that note, say you've got one in a really weird place. This is a swivel. This lets you get into even tighter places in weird angles. It's a universal joint that you can turn this completely around in all kinds of weird directions. Mounts on like any other socket there, and you can even use an extension on top of it. And now you can get your socket into all kinds of positions. Now, before I talk about the ratchet, I just want to show you one specialty socket. This is for a spark plug. So this is automotive size. They come in smaller, they come in larger. This one is what, a 5/8? Nope, this was a 3/4. So spark plugs, different cars, different lawnmowers, different pieces of machinery. There's 3 or 4 different sizes of these, but this is a deep well socket, and what makes it for spark plugs is there's a rubber gasket in here that when you put it on top of the spark plug, it sticks into that rubber gasket. So when you unloose or loosen the spark plug and pull it out, since you're usually pulling straight up for a spark plug, especially on a car, the spark plug stays in here. So that rubber gasket holds it, and then you can take the spark plug out instead of just being down inside the engine. Very useful. You would not want to use a regular deep well socket for a spark plug, because the spark plug will just stay in there, and that would be hard to get out. So, what makes the difference between a wrench and a socket wrench? Basically, we know that's a wrench, adjustable wrench. We know this is a socket, this is a ratchet. This together makes a socket wrench. Now, the reason you really want to use these is just simple speed. So imagine if you had a bolt and you need to tighten it. You put this on the bolt, you tighten. You take it off, you turn it back. Put it back on the bolt, tighten. Take it off the bolt, pull back, put it back on the bolt, tighten. That takes a very long time, and nobody wants to have to do that. Imagine you have a socket wrench. You put the socket on top of the bolt, and then you just turn back and forth. Now, inside here, inside the head here, is a little gear and a stop. So there's a gear, and then there's just a stop plate or a pin kind of thing. I'll try to find a diagram for it, that when you pull it back, it clicks against the gear, and then when you pull it forward, it locks in place, and you're just pushing everything with it. So that would be to tighten, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And what makes it a socket wrench or a ratchet is the ability to switch it. So this is tightening. If you need to loosen it, you simply flip the switch, and they all look a little bit different, but it's very, very similar. A little different, but you should have no problem telling what the switch is. And now that is loosening, clicking, resetting, and then coming back. And this will save you a lot of time and a lot of effort over using just a basic wrench. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.